The pressure to deliver in sports in Nigeria can be very demanding for a nation that prides itself for being the very best in Africa. But in recent times, the national football team hasn't been able to meet up to that standard, such that many Nigerians have expected them to hit. The Nigeria Football Federation, headed by Amaju Pinnick, has been praised by some and criticized by others on the way the affairs of the federation have been handled and the growth of sports and management during his time so far. Some have called for the board to be rejigged. Amaju Pinnick revealed in April this year that he would be bowing out at the expiration of his second tenure due to family pressure. Coming under heavy criticism after the failure of the Super Eagles to qualify for the Qatar 2022 World Cup, the NFF boss had said he was done with being in office because he had put in his best and his family wanted him to step aside. Joining us on the show this morning as we discuss his time in office so far and the general development of sports in Nigeria is Amaju Pinnick, President of the Nigeria Football Federation. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Good morning, everybody.
So let's start on a positive note. Ese Brume has publicly expressed her gratitude to you, for helping her towards her success. So can you tell us how you got involved in Ese Brume's, progress and how you feel seeing your faith so rewarded?
Yeah, Ese is like a daughter to me, and I met her in 2008. 2008, I was executive chairman, Delta State Sports Commission. And when we do scouting in Delta, there's no major scout. Everybody is a scout, you bring in. So I was going from Warri to Asaba and then passing through Ughelli. And they said they were doing inter sports in St. Teresa's Grammar School, Ughelli. So I stopped by. So I saw a young guy sprinting. And I said, wow, that guy should be brought to Asaba. And that's how our journey started with Ese, So got a coach and everything. Then I think in Lagos 2010, she won gold. And I just took it upon myself. She's more than a daughter to me. 2-3 weeks before the Olympics, she won a bronze medal in the Olympics. She won gold in 2 Commonwealth Games ago. And she has been very consistent. And I remember I told one of your colleagues, in channels those days that, listen, the next big thing that is coming to Nigeria, I mentioned 2009, and I am happy how to build resources around that, build things around that. I took her as a project. Whenever I say comes to Lagos, she stays in my house. She's family to me. She's my daughter, and I'm very proud of her. And I believe in the next Olympics, she will give us gold because we're on my own. We'll be able to get some corporates around her now to build her, to nurture her, and to give her everything that she needs to succeed. It's something that is a project to me beyond Nigeria.
Well, we're all very proud of her.
Okay, let me just something you just mentioned now. We don't seem to have been doing very well in terms of sports development, whether in football or athletics, school sports. You went to an inter-house sport. That's where you spotted Ese Brume. Are we doing enough to develop these athletes at the level of school sports? Thompson Usia went to the national camp from
Osikole. Yeah. I can tell you
a lot of them.
Right? Yeah.
So are we doing enough in this regard?
Yeah, they're trying to have it, because it's a very complex thing. You say the Ministry of Youth and Sports is different from Ministry of Education, but we're trying to harmonize that, and see. And even the ministry, they started something in that regard by organizing, the Principals Corps, the Headmasters Corps, and I think that we can now sync it with the Federation's Youth Development Program.
Let's talk about you and the Minister for your ministry, sports, football, the Minister of Youth and Sports. You guys don't see eye to eye over a lot of issues as regards, the investigation of NFF status and its applications. Please elaborate because we've had many back and forths.
On the issue whether we don't see back and eye to eye, if you don't mind, I don't want to talk about it. But regarding
I don't
want to talk about it. Okay. Regarding the NFF statute, I think we should be discussing issues. Some people don't understand the domestication of the NFF. What it is to me is a made-up word. What do you mean domestication of the NFF statute? Domesticate is like domesticating a treaty. A treaty is signed by international organizations, whereby the National Assembly will now pass This one is not a treaty. Domestic NFF started in 2005, precisely January 5th, I think. The Federal Executive Council accepted that the Decree 101, which was enacted in 1992, should be abrogated and give way for the NFF statute to be used for the running of association football. Listen, running of association football, not government football. These are body of rules. So since that was enacted, since the Federal Executive Council passed that as an executive bill, as an executive treaty, the issue of domesticating the league, has been put to rest. And the National Assembly has taken it up upon themselves. Twice that bill has been passed. But meanwhile, the issue of it is that the federal government has reaffirmed their position twice in 2007, 2018, allowing the NFF to be run by the statute. So I don't see any issues about domesticating. So when you say domestication, of course, it's a treaty, whereby Nigeria is a signatory to that treaty and it's passed by the National Assembly. It's different from domestication of our football. So I don't want to delve into that terrain, but I can tell you, even though I'm not a lawyer, this is my terrain and I'm an authority in it, with all due respect.
No, do you guys see eye to eye, you and the minister?
Is the minister, our correspondence is official, and that's it.
No personal relationship?
If you don't mind, I don't want to talk about it. At the appropriate time, we shall talk about all those issues.
Okay.
Well, we look forward to that appropriate time. Tomorrow, you have the annual General Assembly, don't you, of the NFF. Please, can you clear the air about the venue and the timing? And also on the NFF, the elections are fast approaching. Do you still maintain your stance that you will not be running for re-election due to your family asking you to step down?
Yeah, in last year, December, we were to have our annual General Assembly. Our auditors were ready. Everybody were ready. We spent so much money. A day before we got a court injunction, and restraining us from, we had already paid a hotel. We have already sent tickets to some of our delegates, So, we have to respect the laws of the land, and we didn't want to go into that. Then, of course, we started going to court, went to court in March, in April, and going by the law, which is clear, I'm not a lawyer, like I said, but we were told by an expert, A.U. Mustafa, a senior advocate, and also the president of the CAF Appeals Board, is very vast and knowledgeable about football laws. And he wrote to us saying that, listen, in 2010, he was almost delisted from the Nigerian bar for contempt with the entire board then, that we should take it very careful. And I look at myself, I'm a member of the council. I'll be the worst hit if anything happens, because FIFA will not stop to say, okay, step aside. Once you are in contempt, or once you are against your national laws, or once you are in prison or anything, you should make it. So I just told myself, let us follow the procedures step by step. Now, they went back to court. And when they went back to court, they said they were going to withdraw we look at it, we wrote to our lawyer, doing the right thing. And the lawyer came to us and said, listen, we have to wait for the judge has to. I said, no, that's not good enough. We have to write to the office of the Attorney General. If the office of the Attorney General comes back to us with an explanation that we can go ahead, the Congress is on the 18th, we've already booked accommodation, we've already done everything. Is a pre-electoral elective Congress where you will meet and do a roadmap for the Congress, and there are basic rules. So we've been interfacing with FIFA. There are basic rules. If you look at the electoral codes of the NFF, just go to Article 4.3, you see it clearly. There are basic rules, even though the Congress is the supreme, but there are basic rules governing football, especially when it comes to election, using the electoral code. It says 6 months as a minimum to conduct an election. Anything beyond that, if you look at Article G, 1, 2, 3, is a gross violation, and FIFA cannot intervene. And once FIFA intervenes, then FIFA cannot take actions. It is clearly stated. But people just prevaricate and say, because there's a lot going on in Nigeria. I love this country, but the issue of hate, bitterness, and institutions that are meant to protect you are the ones opening you up to your enemies for humiliation, ridicule, and possibly annihilation. It's so sad that my colleagues globally, if you are in the FIFA Council, listen, there are 7.73 billion people in the world. There are only 37 people in FIFA. Google FIFA Council, you will see a Nigerian flag. It's good enough for us. But some people want that flag to be removed. We do not I'm not against criticism. That one is certain. If I err, I won't, even if my board members err, I take responsibility because as a leader, I take responsibility. But not institutions that are meant to protect you, build rings around you. Like all my colleagues, even in Africa, there are 1.3 billion people, only 7 of us on the NFF Council, including the CAF president. Look at my colleagues everywhere. There are rings around them because they protect it so zealously. Because if you miss that opportunity, it will take another Nigeria, another 10, 20, 30, 40 years to have the opportunity. I will know how central politics is in football. On the field, you can call it 50%. Off the field, it's 50%. So, but if you have somebody very key playing this politics, being around the corridors of power, have unfettered access into the home of football, as the highest authority. Look, FIFA is not boxing, that you have IBF, WBF. FIFA is just one body. And in Nigeria, is opportune through his personal hard work and work from his Congress and the executive committee to be in that place. And I think that place should be protected, projected, and ring-fenced for the development of the game in the country. So, but going back to your other question, listen, I saw an article, I was in Kenya on an assignment, and last week, exactly a week ago, and I granted an interview, and when they asked me about the third term, I said, listen, the truth is, a lot of Nigerians have called me. I'm not just talking about Nigerians from the lowest, the mid, even to the highest. You talk of corporates, top 5. Talk of royalty, top 5. Pinnick, we are building this country. You must be an integral part of it. But I said, listen, my family is key. Yes, I love Nigeria, but my family is number one. You know my family. Lovely family. Every time dad is having this issue, my husband is having this issue, they're tired. So they said no. So I said, okay, Dad, I love this country, like I said, but family first. I cannot even go back to my wife right now to say, listen, I want to go. I cannot go back to my family. I cannot go back to some of my associates. I'm an Ishakiri man. We are noble with our words. And for now, I said no. And I still stand right. And that is the truth. Because you don't want to go to a terrain where bitterness, hatred, animosity, bickering, for no reason other than the fact that it is Amaju Pinnick. If you ask anybody, I don't want to call them critics, the haters, the traducers, ask them, what has Amaju Pinnick done? One thing. If they tell you today, I will resign. Nothing. But the truth is, we keep doing this. It's not only about football and politics. It's about as a country. We just look at you for certain reasons. In Shekiri man, let's hate him. In Yoruba man, let's hate him. We should go beyond that narrow confines and look at the time a Fulani man was a mayor in Enugu.
At the Sun.
We started playing football here in Lagos. We should go back to those days. So that this hatred, because you can imagine, look at my colleague, the FIFA Council member from Morocco. The moment he was made a FIFA Council member, he was celebrated, and guess what? He's now the Minister of Finance in Morocco. Look at my colleague from Mali, from Benin Republic, there's also a council member. I can go on and on, but globally, we thank God Almighty that we are always being appreciated. And I don't play peripheral role in FIFA. They know I play very integral roles in FIFA and in CAF. The CAF Organizing Committee for AFCON, I'm the co-vice president, only second to the president. So God has blessed us. When I read an article that one of my, the former president said, is warning Pinnick against sit-tight. Sit-tight forgot to be NFF president. The dream of every football administrator globally is to be in the FIFA Council or be in your confederations. I'm a member of CAF, I'm a member of FIFA. So NFF, yes, is a plus because you want to help. But being in the council, you will just narrow yourself to dictating at that point. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be part of Nigeria. I know what we suffered. We set up a team within the NFF for us to get to that council. And we don't want to lose it.
Okay. Our girls in the under-20, the Falconets, they won their second match. They are doing well. I hope nobody is going to hold their allowances. Because that's usually the story, but that's not my question. Now, in terms of financing the NFF, because when these teams go out there, they are representing Nigeria, not just Amaju Pinnick and NFF. They are representing the country. What's the contribution of the ministry to your budget, the NFF budget? And some are saying less than 10%.
No, you see, people don't understand how the NFF works, you know. So it's also good for people to understand that. They believe that in every game, you just write a memo to the president or to your minister, and the minister approves it. No, it's not like that. There's a cap. NFF entire budget for this year is no more than 800 million. And that's the truth. But that's what comes to us statutorily. But if you intervene, like there was an intervention the minister got, you know, for 800 million for the girls that went to Morocco, the Super Falcons. I mean, approval doesn't translate immediately to release of. Have you received the money? No, we have not. But we had to.
And that competition has come and gone.
Yeah. Well, we had to. You see,
and you're still waiting for the money.
No. I don't want us to go into that. But
this is with Nigeria's.
No. But you see, approval is different from release. Even when I was in state, it's also the same thing. So we'll have to look for other ways in trying to see. The girls came back to Nigeria. They didn't do any demonstration. It was a huge effort on our part. The same thing, the girls that went to Costa Rica. Today they are winning. People don't know that they had a very intensive training. They were camped in Colombia. They were camped here. They did everything. And today they are showcasing their God-given talent, representing our dear Nigeria. So people don't understand this. When I came on as president of NFF, the first thing, one of the things I signed was to buy jersey for Nigeria. Buy. I wept. Buy. Nigeria. And Nigeria just won the Nations Cup in 2013. Then this was 2014. So it was very difficult for me. There was none of those big kids company I didn't go to. But finally we got Nike. And we are holding on to them. Even if by God's grace, someone else comes in. It's just to make sure that we project them. I just want to make sure, by God's grace, myself and my general secretary, in ensuring that we get Nike to keep being on. Because if we don't, it's going to be suicidal for us. We want to get some of the sponsors, because you agree that times are tough. These sponsors, they need diesel to run their businesses, do all those things. So if they are cutting down costs, they go straight to public relations. That's where they cut, not the operational cost. So they do all these things, and people don't understand that. Okay. We are still trudging on.
So, but you have not answered the question. Are you listening to your family? Because many stakeholders, Warri Boys, Hosians, other soccer stakeholders are saying, Amaju will just live like that because family said.
Not just family.
No, you want them to send a delegation to your family.
No. It goes beyond that.
To appeal to madam.
You don't want to
and
work.
The children.
No, it goes beyond that. You don't want to work in a terrain where for the last 8 years, it's been one battle or the other. Just imagine if there was sanity and stability, where Nigeria would have been. From 0%, when you say that we travel without funding and all those stuff, we've taken over 80% of our funding. It doesn't mean that government cannot intervene when we have paucity. So people should understand all these things.
Okay. So you're saying here it's been a yeoman's job for you, trying as much as possible to get players being paid, and that's why we had all those big cranes as regards player payment, and you've been filling the gap because approval is different from disbursement. But I'd like to ask you about, succession. People have criticized you that you do everything for people out there up north. Your succession, is your vice president, going to play a role, because they're saying that you're beginning to think of your succession and people that work close with you. What are you going to do for them? Are you going to support them in any way?
People keep saying that I support people from the north, sharing up positions in the north. Trust me, I don't have any regret about that. North is an integral part of Nigeria. I can tell you. Going by statistics, if you look at my last elections, 98% of my vote came from the north. In Katsina, from my own region, I had just 3 votes. From Southeast, I had 2 votes.
Why didn't you vote in your own region?
That's what I'm saying. All the petitions I've had, no Northern has written a petition against Amaju Pinnick or my executive committee, or even from my own place. So it goes beyond that, but that doesn't mean that we don't apply fairness in anything that we're doing. Okay, let us take all the positions. By God's grace, I've been able to. In South, let's go to North Central. Ayo Mustafa is the president of CAFA Peace Board. Northwest, Shehu Diko, is a member, by merit, is a member of the FIFA Stakeholders Conference, ipso facto making him a member of the Interclub Committee in CAF. Ibrahim Gusso was a member of CHAN. Then when this new government came, they decided to, new administration of CAF, say, okay, only NFF President will be a member of CHAN. And because of the fact that he was very loyal to the system, by merit, they moved into the CAF Appeals CAF Youth Committee. They were talking about Babagana Akali. He's one of the top FIFA CAF match commissioners. He is from Northeast. Then Southeast, Ayansi, Chisom, they are from Southeast. Then if you talk about Southwest, the most important human being in football in Africa is from this place. On ethics, I'm not meant to mention Justice Ayotide Phillips is a member of the only member of the adjudicated chambers of FIFA. That lady can sit here and remove anybody. She's one of the most powerful women, but quietly, because their positions are not meant to be made, you know. She's a member of the ethics committee. So if you look at it, everything was equitably distributed. Then let us talk about the people working in CAF. Christian Omero is from Southeast. He's the head of FIFA security. Samson Adamu is from between, you know, Southwest and Northwest. He's the director of CAF competitions. So I can go on and on. People have been in the IOCs, FIFA in the past. But if you look at what we have done, we have given Nigeria global recognition. We have taken football from this level to this level. And yet people will look at me and say, oh, because even after we didn't qualify for the World Cup, we didn't just sit down. The board sat down and said, what do we do? Look at our youth development program. Look at our under-17 team, winning the WAFU under-17. Under-20 team, winning the WAFU under-20. Then the last phase of qualifying for the World Cup, look at all our girls qualify for the World Cup. So when people look at all these things, I look at myself. It's not just jumping into a terrain and say you want to run. Beyond family, like I told you, I don't want to walk into a blind alley. I know things are tough right now. In the last 8 years, the Super Eagles have been going on, not just any flight. The best airplane in Nigeria is taking them anywhere. They stay in the best hotels. Can I afford to do that moving forward? I have to check. There are so many things that I need to do. That?
So is it that it is you that...
No, I said, can we afford? No, because of the sponsorship and people are pulling out because of the economy right now. Can we afford to do all these things? And these players are used to it already. If in future you call them and you start putting them on commercial flights, they will know your invitation moving forward.
So you want to leave that wahala for another person?
No, it's not. I'm saying, listen, whoever is going to be there, trust me, I'm a Nigerian first. I will help. I will be of assistance. I will not interfere, but I will only intervene and make sure things are right. Because whether you like it or not, I'm still the boss.
Okay. Right, Amaju, we're running out of time. We literally have less than 2 minutes. I just want you to give us a full appraisal. Well, I just said 2 minutes, if you can.
Briefly, I've already given you an appraisal
of your time as
I've already given you an appraisal.
Your accomplishments. We've heard the challenges.
We talked about sustainable football development, sustainable culture. We've been able to introduce the culture of physical discipline by bringing in PwC and financial derivatives as our advisors. Our books are kept neat. We've been able to introduce that culture of family among the team. That's where you see Super Eagles. You don't see people bickering, fighting, having different camps. Little things. We've been able to introduce that culture of patriotism. Look at this flag. Forget allowances and make sure you give us the goal. We've been able to introduce so many novel things. Introduce sponsorship into Nigerian football. Like I said, if things were done in a very sane, and you don't listen to traducers, you as the superintendent, you listen to us, we'll talk to you, we'll give you your respect. By now, Nigerian football would have been the highest level, because everybody in my executive committee, wants Nigerian football to succeed. I'm telling you, they are passion-driven. It's different from being passion-driven or looking at other games. Middle of the night, I can get a call from Fresh, I can get a call from Akali, President, this is how we must do things. You will see passion flowing. Aisha Falode, fantastic. Look at our women's league. So, in spite of all these things, we have done our best, but our best might not be good enough for some. I don't want to call them critics, because criticism strengthens us, it builds us, and nurtures us for greatness. But when you are a traducer, your feeling is just only dogmatic, subjective. There's nothing it does that is good enough. We should, not just in football, as Nigerians, we should try to eliminate that from our psychic. That's the way this country can grow.
No, but many Nigerians are still angry that we are not in Qatar 2022.
I am more angry than you because you know what? Do you know what we have lost? If we're in Qatar, nobody will be talking about Tottenham for Amaju Pinnick now. That is it. But unfortunately, yeah, people are saying that. But you see, like I said, we want to win. We want to qualify. And of course, the minister knows the effort two of us made. His ministry and the NFF Executive Committee. But it's football. Italy, the defending champions of Europe, did not qualify. 3 days thereafter, they were playing an international match. And they are still there in the FIFA ranking. We are still there in the FIFA ranking. It's unfortunate. I couldn't sleep for days because we know what we lost. If you look at the jersey Nike has done for Nigeria, if you see that jersey, the ones that we had in the past are child play. Look at all, we're talking about the culture. We've been able to build that culture where people now queue for Nigerian products. We introduced the lifestyle jerseys in 2018. And today, that jersey won the best jersey male, women's male. And people, I'm sure you are very proud in 2018 just for the World Cup. In Nike Town in London, Nike Town in New York, people were queuing. It is the culture that's one of the cultures that we imbibe from my executive committee. So people should not just look at us. Well, have I failed? No. Have I disappointed the seal of leadership? No. Have I scored 100%? No.
Another reason why you should go for a third term there.
No. Listen, I love to, but I'm telling you that I'm fine.
Okay.
There are so many Nigerians that are capable. I will assist, I will work with them.
You work
and that's yeah. I will work with whoever emerge as the president of Nigerian Football Federation. Okay. That's my promise. I'll work with them. I will interfere. I will intervene, but not to interfere in the running.
Okay. Intervene, not interfere. Thank you so much, Amaju Pinnick, President of NFF.